So today's video, we're going to discuss why you should get lean before you go into your bulking phase. Many of you may look in the mirror and think, I am skinny, I need to put on some tissue. The problem is some of you are above 15% body fat, and this is why I would recommend that you must get lean before you enter that bulking phase. This is a client that we've just had finished. This was a 7-week result. So as you can see, what I'm telling you to do is not going to take that long if you're in and around the space of 15, 16, 17, 18% body fat. Obviously, the closer you get towards 20, it's blatantly obvious that you should not be bulking from 20% body fat. You probably know this, but a lot of you are not 20% body fat. A lot of you sit in the space of like softer than 13, not quite any softer than 18% body fat. And it can be reversed very, very quickly. So, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tom Sergey. I run the Gorilla Platoon. This is an online physique transformation program where we get results like this each and every week, and we just speak about them online. This is what we did. This is the result we achieved. And then you can take what from you like and implement it into your own training cycle. If you think I deliver value, or if it's garbage, you can turn off the video. So what we're going to discuss is why to get lean before you bulk. This was a 7-week result. 81 kg down to just 78. You don't need to drop a shit ton of scale weight if you are in a short recomp phase before you bulk. Look at the back shot there. You can see how much body fat this guy was really carrying versus the back shot that we finish with. However, I like to approach things from the perspective of a body recomposition. Drop body fat, build muscle along the way, rather than just going straight into a building phase. If you took this guy straight into a building phase here, the issues that you're going to run into are of the following. The first one is how your body will use insulin. I did type this out real quick. I do appreciate there are some spelling mistakes on the fucking screen. Shoot me, it is what it is. But the way your body will partition in nutrients, specifically insulin, will not be as effective if you're 16, 17, 18% body fat versus a motherfucker that's cutting around 10% body fat. The way your body will utilize carbohydrates and insulin, you will be a lot more responsive to it if you are leaner. You could think of it like this. If you are 18, 17% body fat, your body is used to eating in a surplus. That's why you're not at 10%. You've been eating in a surplus, and it's not been doing anything with that food. It's been storing that excess energy as adipose tissue. So if you go into a further gaining phase, a further bulk, you further push food after, because what will happen is you'll enter the gaining phase, you'll start lifting, cool, nice, let's say you already were. Soon enough, that scale weight's going to plateau out. And when that scale weight plateaus out, what's your go-to? Push food. So you're going to push food up to get more performance in the gym. But simultaneously to that, the scale's going to increase. And the more food you give, you're just going to end up storing it as body fat because your body knows to store excess energy as body fat because that's what you've done for a period of time. So the way your body will utilize nutrients is not the same. In these two photos, he will utilize nutrients different to the way this guy will utilize nutrients. And that's why you want to get lean first. That's probably one of the biggest reasons from a physiological standpoint as to why you'd want to get lean and responsive first. The next thing I would tell you is your bulking window. If you get to 8 to 10% body fat, you can get from 8 to 10% all the way up to around 17, 18% whilst putting on tissue, whilst with the goal of increasing muscle size along the way. The goal is not to bulk and just put on weight and a load of body fat. The goal is to put as much tissue on as possible. We do realize as a byproduct of that, although it pains us to say, you will accumulate some body fat along the way, and that's okay. Where it's not okay is if you're starting from 17, 18% body fat, you start to put on 4 or 5% of body fat, you're above 20%. That's fat. It is what it is, but that's fucking fat. And if you're an athlete, if you see yourself as an athlete, from a psychological standpoint, that will fucking kill you. You look in the mirror as a guy that's always trained, known as an athlete, known as a lifter, and you're above 20% body fat, that will fucking kill you psychologically. And you won't be able to look in the mirror, and if it's not winter, you're going to have a real hard time of pushing through that. So even if you wanted to, and I've said this before on this channel, even if you wanted to continue bulking post 20% body fat, I think very few of you would actually have the brain strength and capacity to push through that and be okay with how soft and out of condition you looked. I really don't see, and the byproduct of that at the end is, your cut is going to be a hell of a lot longer. If you need to take yourself down from 23, 24% body fat all the way to 8 to 10, that's at least 16 kg that needs to come off the frame. 0.8 of a kilogram is accruing to 1% of body fat. It's best part of 16 kg that's going to need to come off the frame. The last thing I will mention is appetite, although that's not what that word actually reads. It looks like appetite, but It is what it is. Your appetite, generally speaking, will be not in the greatest of spaces the higher your body fat is. Look at it this way. If I run you through a recomp phase where you're in calorie deficit and I have you training and I have you doing cardio, who's going to have a bigger appetite for a gaining phase? The guy that's run through that, or the guy in the initial that's appetite's not really that strong anyway? You're going to need to push food, you're going to need to push carbohydrates, and if your appetite is in the bin, you're going to struggle to get that extra food in anyway that's going to allow you to grow. So you're going to end up being in this weird space of where like you're trying to gain size, you're trying to get stronger, that's plateauing out, you're trying to push food, but your body's not really efficient the way it uses that food, and you're having to really force feed it in, and your appetite's in the bin. It's just not a good way to go. Now, that being said, can it be done? You know, I'm trying to give you the pros of why you should get lean first, but can you just bulk from a fat position? Theoretically, yes. If you've got the absolute patience of a saint, it might not be the most efficient way, but you can still bulk technically from that standpoint. But I'm just telling you why I would get lean first before I went into a bulking phase. And for my own clarity, I generally like to start from a leaner position because as what you also get is the opposite, in which the sense you would go through the bulking phase, and the fatter you get, the more out of condition you look, the more mentally like fucking it is. The reverse happens if you got lean first. The leaner you get, the bigger everything looks. Then as you go into the gaining phase and you start to have more food, glycogen stores start to fill back up, you look a lot fuller and you look like a fucking superhuman. That is going to put your mental state in a very, very good position. You will be hungry for the bulk, both fucking metaphorically and physically, and it's going to allow you to set yourself up to really, really send it. When you're doing a bulk, you just want to get in there, get as much tissue as possible, and get the fuck out. You don't want to drag it on forever. They're hard enough as it is. You're in the gym, frying yourself session after session. You're cramming food down day after day. You're trying to sleep like an absolute baby. It is like a second job, a bulking phase. So realistically, if you were going to go into a brand new job that was a few stages above your pay grade, you'd want to go into it very well prepared. You want to go in with it, with your brain ready to take in knowledge, with you having a long window of time to set yourself up well in that job, and you'd want to be hungry for the job in which it's going to come, not burnt out and frustrated as you have been from previous jobs. So realistically, this is why I always say, get lean first. It's not a massive job. This can be done in 7 weeks. You don't need to drop off a load of scale weight, but you're going to look like two completely different fucking human beings. Who here wants to walk around like the photo on the right versus the photo on the left? It's an obvious answer, isn't it? And there's not much scale weight difference between the two. So body recomposition, that is what we do here on this channel, and we just speak about it online. This is my one take on why you think you should get lean first. Remember, I'm not God. I'm just a guy that gets results, and I speak about them online. If you found the video of value, subscribe. If you want me to do this for you, there'll be a links in the description and you can book a call and we can take it from there. Thank you for listening as always. I love the support on the channel. I really, really do. We've done a video every day since the 29th of Jan this year. So that is now 11 months straight on the bounce. Thank you for your support. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you tomorrow.